What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for a SmackDown review for July the 10th, 2020. Before we get to SmackDown, there's this ugly little rumor going out there that WWE is possibly going to do an Evolution 2. When would they put this Evolution 2 on, you may ask? The week after SummerSlam. Now, I'm all for women getting all the opportunities they can get. I'm all for if they book it right at all women's pay-per-view. But what happened and what was wrong with the last Evolution? Oh, let's think. Saudi Arabia was the week before, a couple days before actually, or the week before. No build, only 2 matches that fucking mattered. The main event was Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella. Why the fuck would anybody want to see another Evolution 2? Plus, they don't even have Ronda Rousey anymore. They don't have that star women's wrestler that they can bank on. Charlotte Flair is not going to draw in the viewers that Ronda Rousey would. Asuka's not going to do that. Nobody else is going to do that. They need Ronda Rousey or somebody at that caliber, and there is nobody. Becky's gone for a fucking year because she's got a baby on the way. Who are they going to have to promote and build around this? Shayna Baszler could be one of those women that they actually do something with, but they don't. And after tonight, anybody wanting to get an Evolution 2 probably needs to shut the fuck up. Because what did they do for the women tonight? Other than Bayley and Sasha Banks taking on Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, which we already knew was going to happen, they decided, well, we have Tamina, we have Lacey Evans, we have Dana Brooke, and we even have Naomi. We have nothing for these 4 women. So what are we going to do tonight? Let's do a karaoke showdown hosted by the only Uso who's not injured, Jay. That was what they had planned for the other women on this plan that aren't Bayley, Sasha Banks, Nikki Cross, and Alexa Bliss. And people want an Evolution 2. You gotta be kidding me. But we start the show off with Miz and Morrison in the ring for Miz TV. Why is it called Miz TV? Why is this not the dirt sheet? Did WWE realize that the dirt sheet was something that should have been left in the mid-2000s and just said, you know what, we're not doing that anymore. We have Miz TV. Why do we need the dirt sheet? Because John Morrison's back. Because let me tell you, those 1 or 2 episodes they did of Miz TV were, I'm not Miz TV, but the dirt sheet were absolutely atrocious. Miz TV is not much better, but I would take that over the bullshit that they did in the 2 or 3 episodes of the dirt sheet that they brought back. So their guest is Jeff Hardy. Miz, of course, is trying to give Jeff Hardy this professional and serious introduction, and every time he says something, John Morrison has to crack a joke. Miz is like, are you serious? Are you taking this seriously? Miz Morrison's like, I didn't realize this was a serious episode. Miz says every episode's a serious episode, which we know is bullshit. But they finally bring Jeff Hardy out. Says he has clips for us to see. Hardy doesn't know what it's about. Miz says that's okay because he has a clip and leads us to a video package of the recent Hardy vs. Sheamus feud. I really hope this ends after the horror show at Extreme Rules next weekend, because this feud right here, if anybody thought that Jeff Hardy coming back from his injury and was going to have some kind of redemption, that maybe not at SummerSlam, but maybe at WrestleMania we could see Jeff Hardy challenge for the Universal Championship, this feud with him and Sheamus has doused anybody who thinks that is what their plan is. Their plan is to embarrass this guy and make him look like the biggest fool in WWE until his contract runs up. That's their version of redemption for Jeff Hardy. Because that's how pathetic and petty Vince McMahon is. Vince McMahon probably already knows when Jeff Hardy's contract's up, he's leaving and either A, joining his brother in AEW, or B, going back to Impact Wrestling where they knew how to fucking use Jeff Hardy. Because WWE and, yeah. Sheamus raising a toast to Hardy last Friday and trying to get him to drink alcohol. Hardy insists he's alright, but says he can... he could go to some dark places and with his addictions. Jeff admits Sheamus bothered him and his words, but get under his skin, and he lost at Backlash. Didn't bother him. He says he's going to do everything in his power to destroy Sheamus to put this behind him. We get a Hardy chant from the crowd. Hardy goes on and says he will be a beacon of light for people struggling with addiction. Sure you will, Jeff. I know people want to think that Jeff Hardy should be a beacon of light, but the dude has had how many screw-ups? How many fuck-ups? How many second chances does one guy get? This is like his third or fifth or sixth second chance in his professional wrestling career. I would not want to have anybody with that many fuck-ups being a beacon of light for anybody with addiction. You want somebody who went down the dark path, saw the light, came back from it, and never went back that way. Jeff Hardy is definitely no beacon of light for anybody struggling with addiction. Let's see. If they can say, he says is hope for a change is possible, and there is a life waiting for them beyond their wildest dreams if they can stay sober. Morrison says he has goosebumps. Miz is glad Hardy came to Miz TV because he feels like there's this progress. They want to help Hardy. Miz says that there needs to be a rematch between Sheamus and Hardy, but not just any match. Where Hardy does his best work is a bar fight. Miz actually suggested a bar fight, which, you know what? I'm fine with that. We haven't seen a bar fight in WWE since the APA days, which it plays into the whole entire addiction thing. You know, this is something WWE can do because you already have the swamp fight going on. You have CGI apparently going into the Rey Mysterio Seth Rollins match. So why the hell not? Let's have a bar fight. Sure, as long as it's well, you know, yeah. It's going to be interesting to do a bar fight during a pandemic when, like, most bars are closed, especially in Florida. Where the fuck are you going to find a bar? Because you can't do a bar fight with just 2 people in there. You got to have a full house of people. You have to have the entire bar filled. You have to have bartenders, servers, people drinking, people eating, people joining in on the fight, all of that shit. So, going out there and be like, oh, we're going to have a bar fight. Where the fuck are you going to have a goddamn bar fight where you can make it look like a legit bar fight and not this shit? Knowing WWE, they'll find some empty building, they'll dress it up to look like a bar, have a bunch of their NXT talent be the patrons, you'll have a couple people being bartenders who probably have the skills to be a bartender, and we'll have ourselves a bar fight. If you can make it look like a legitimate bar fight, then I'm fine with that. Just make it an actual looking bar fight. Morrison goes on about the symbolism. Hardy will fight Sheamus and his alcoholism at the same time. Hardy says Sheamus must have put these two up to it. Sheamus probably thinks Jeff will crumble in a bar fight, but he's wrong. He will take Sheamus out in that bar fight and prove once and for all he's on the right path to redemption, the path to success, and he's never letting any fans down again. We'll hold you to that one, Jeff, because when you fuck up again and everyone knows you're going to probably fuck up again, we'll come back to this episode of SmackDown in this line where you say that you'll never let another fan down again, and be like, hey, Jeff, you said this on national TV, and yeah, you get it. Hardy accepts the challenge from Sheamus. He also wants a match tonight. He says Miz and Morrison can't invite him on the show, mock him in his face, and not get punched in the face. He ends up attacking both of them. Morrison with the cheap shot. Hardy still manages to clear the ring. He starts tossing the chairs out of the ring. They yell back at him about how they're going to try and help him, and we go to commercial break. So that's how the show opened. Miz TV, just Piper's Pit was a thing it was great back in the day. It was a great thing. It was revolutionary. But every single year, it seems like since then, you had the King's Court in the 90s, the highlight reel in the early 2000s, in the mid 2000s, the Edge's show, the Peep Show. Dean Ambrose had one. JTG for a minute had one. Now, and Miz, of course, Miz TV has been the longest running one since the highlight reel, which of course isn't a thing anymore because Jericho is in AEW and that's not his character anymore. So we go to the match. It's Jeff Hardy versus Miz. We come back break and the bell rings. We get the bell as Miz and Hardy go at it. John Morrison at ringside. Miz drops Hardy first and shows off some. Hardy turns it around and takes Miz down in the middle of the ring, more back and forth for a few minutes. Miz mounts some offense. Hardy ends up turning it around with a twist of fate. Hardy goes to the top of the swanton, but Morrison pulls him out of the ring. Hardy ends up flying and taking the down on the outside. Back to commercial break. Back for break, and Hardy is unloading on Miz. Morrison with another cheap shot to allow Miz to turn it around. As Hardy was on the outside, Miz, of course, distract the referee. So Morrison's like, you know what? Bam! Knock his ass out for a second so Miz can get back into it. Miz works Jeff Hardy over and sends him face first into the plexiglass barrier. Next, as the referee counts, Miz places Jeff on the apron and hits a running knee. Miz comes back but wastes some time singing with Morrison. Miz slingshots Hardy up under the middle rope. Miz talks some trash and stomps away. Miz with the it kicks and 2 running knees in the corner. Miz with a running clothesline in the corner, and now as Morrison cheers him on and the crowd boos. Miz comes off the top rope, but Hardy kicks him in the gut. Miz blocks the twist of fate, ends up dropping Hardy with a neck breaker for a close 2 count. The crowd rallies Hardy and delivers. While Hardy is on his knees, Miz drops Hardy with a big kick to the face and covers for another close 2 count. Hardy ends up dropping Miz out of nowhere. Morrison cheers on the Miz, but the crowd rallies for Hardy. Hardy gets up first and unloads some strikes. Hardy with some more offense, including inverted atomic drop and a leg drop. Then the basement drop kick. Hardy with a splash from the corner for its close 2 count. More back and forth in the counter between the two as they try for their finishers. Hardy rocks Miz in the corner and then knocks Morrison off the apron. Jeff goes back to the top, but Sheamus interrupts on the big screen. He is at his bar in his home. He has a beer and says Hardy doesn't know what he's missing. Hardy comes down, looks on, allowing Miz for a roll-up from behind, gets a 2, but Hardy ends up countering that into a pin for himself and gets the win. He's out of there before Morrison can get in, and that is the end of that. I cannot wait till this shit is over with. Jeff Hardy is like, he comes back, he stays with the company because he knows he has to till his contract comes up. And apparently, I don't know, I'm going to have to just take this for what it is. The only reason I think that they're doing this storyline is because Jeff Hardy hasn't re-signed yet, and his contract's coming up by the end of this year, or like beginning of next year, and they want to embarrass him so badly that he's damaged goods. So when he leaves, Impact or AEW won't touch him, and Jeff Hardy will not have the opportunities that everyone knows that he will get. We made you look like a fool. Nobody's going to want to touch damaged goods, especially somebody like Jeff Hardy, who is a fuck up and a fuck up and a fuck up. This is ridiculous. The whole Sheamus feud, like if they wanted to feud with him with Sheamus, that's absolutely fine. But do we have to go down this path, this petty, pathetic path? God, what a load of shit, and I cannot wait till this is over. The horror show at Extreme Rules needs to be the end of this 100%. I do not want to come out the next Friday and the Friday after the horror show and be like, well, we're still going down this path. We still have to deal with Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. It ends in the bar fight. You don't book a bar fight for a feud that's been going on for about 2 months and be like, well, what do we do after that? How do we continue this feud on? Jeff gets the win, Jeff moves on, or Sheamus gets the win, Sheamus moves on, and Jeff looks like a fool. It's got to be it. We cannot keep going with this. Cesaro is backstage with Cesaro and Nakamura. Cesaro isn't happy with the idea that the win over the New Day would be an upset. He goes on about the reasons he's sick of the New Day and how long he's been sick of them. Which, of course, everyone knows that unlike Nakamura, Cesaro has had multiple feuds with the New Day with him and Sheamus as the Bar. Of course, the Bar were the team that took the tag team titles off of the New Day when the New Day were running on a 400 plus day title reign, which was the longest reign in WWE history, and the only reason the New Day did that is because Demolition, who was the previous title holders for the longest reigning tag team champions, were suing WWE for concussion syndromes. Nakamura says we will have new champions tonight. Then we go to Sasha Banks and Bayley coming out. Of course, they have a tag team match against Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. But before we can do anything, Before they could even get announced, and they're on the stage holding up their titles, being happy and everything. Nikki Cross from behind jumps onto piggyback style to Bayley, and she starts fucking beating the hell out of her. Double team on them. We go to break. Back from break and the match is underway. Banks and Cross go at it. Beats Cross down in the corner. Bayley works over Cross and talks trash. More back and forth now. Bliss looks on while Cross is dropped again. Bliss gets a tag in and they work over Bayley. Bliss and Bayley go at it now. Banks comes back in, but Bliss keeps control as she works on the arm. Cross comes back in a drop kick. Cross mounts some offense on Banks. Bliss tags back in and drops Bayley off the apron. Banks avoids the double team and goes to the floor to join Banks. Banks and Bayley yell at the announcers while Cross comes from behind and taunts them with one of their titles. Cross and Bliss take the champs down in the front of the announce table and pose together as we go to commercial break. Back from break, and Bliss sends Bayley back to the floor, but Banks assists Bayley, turns it around. Bayley brings it back in for a 2 count. Bayley goes on talking trash and taunting Cross. Bliss counters for a roll-up and a close 2 count. More back and forth between the two teams. Bayley taunts Cross on the apron and drops clothesline into Bliss. Bayley yells at the referee now as Cross waits for a tag. Bayley rams Bliss back into the corner and prevents the tag. Banks tags in and they double team Bliss as Bayley launches her into a big slap from Banks. Banks covers for 2 and shows some frustration after Bliss kicks out again. The crowd tries to rally. The crowd tries to rally Bliss now as does Cross. Bayley chokes Bliss in the corner while the referee is distracted. Bayley tags back in and hits a suplex on Bliss for a 2. Cross finally gets the hot tag and she unloads on both opponents. Cross with a bulldog to Banks out of the corner. Cross rams Banks into the turnbuckle when she goes down. Cross also drops Bayley on the apron. More back and forth between the two teams. Bayley comes in for a close 2 count on Cross. Bayley blocks a tornado DDT from Cross, but Cross comes right back with a net breaker for a 2 count as Banks makes the save. That's how you protect finishers. I get sick and tired of seeing multiple finishers getting kicked out. Having your tag team partner come in and making the save is always the way to go. Bliss has Banks on the floor now, but Banks counters and launches her into the barrier for Booze. This leads to Bayley taking advantage and rolling Cross up for the pin with her feet on the rope for the 1, 2, 3. So Bayley and Sasha Banks win the match. First off, this match was obviously going to be Bayley and Sasha Banks winning. They have a tag team title match on Monday, going up against the former champs of Asuka and Kairi Sane. WWE is dubbing Monday Night Grudge Match Monday, because you have Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins, the tag team champions for Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Viking Raiders versus Andrade and Angel Garza. Randy Orton is going up against. Who the hell is Randy Orton going up against? All I know is there's going to be a ton of matches that are rematches. So basically, Monday Night Raw this coming Monday is Rematch Monday. So if you want to skip Monday Night Raw, which Spectrum made sure I skipped because I was out for, again, 11 fucking hours, then you have a reason to skip because it's all going to be Rematch Monday. Back from break, and we get promos from the new Battlegrounds video game, which looks absolutely atrocious. I guess if you're a fan of WWE All Stars, I guess this is still a spiritual successor. It does look like it's in that same style of graphic style and gameplay. But I never liked WWE All Stars. I played it, I hated it. But if it's your cup of tea, by all means, drink that tea up. And that's just lead us to a special replay of Braun Strowman's successful title retention against Bray Wyatt at Money in the Bank. So that was about 15 minutes of our time wasted. Backstage, the tag team champions, the New Day, she asked if they're underestimating Cesaro and Nakamura. They've been hearing this for the past 6 years, and they haven't forgotten who or how good Cesaro and Nakamura are. But they're not going to let them off the hook. They go on about marching until they remain the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, getting hyped up, encouraging Strowman to clap with them. Lacey Evans and Naomi are backstage, getting ready for Karaoke Showdown. We go back to commercial break. We come back, and Jey Uso's in the ring with all 4 women. They do their shit. I didn't give a fuck. I took a shit. I didn't want to, waste my time. I come back. Naomi is getting attacked. Apparently Naomi won. Lacey Evans attacks her, so there's your heel turn confirmed. So we go to commercial break, we come back, and we have a match between Lacey Evans and Naomi. So you made us waste this entire karaoke thing was a waste of time just to get us to a match between Naomi and Lacey Evans, which didn't even have a conclusive finish. They go about 3 minutes, and then Dana Brooke grabs Lacey Evans and is like, "Suck it up, you lost, suck it up." Tamina tries to come over and say something. Lacey Evans shoves her away. She gets back in the ring. Dana Brooke and Tamina both go in, and all 4 women brawl. So you have a no contest. Why should we care about these 4 women? Bayley and Sasha Banks are your top heels right now. Anybody else, like Lacey Evans, turning heel is not going to make a damn difference. We're not going to see her in the Women's Championship picture right now. Probably not until after Sasha Banks wins the championship, only to lose it a week or 2 later. Because Sasha Banks doesn't hold a singles championship on the main roster for more than 30 days. It's a streak that she's been going on for a while. The only title Sasha Banks on the main roster has able to have a lengthy title reign with twice is the women's tag team titles. So yeah, color me shocked that this show has just gotten worse and worse as we go. I mean, come the fuck on. Karaoke on SmackDown? Are you that lazy? I just can't even with this company. Lacey Evans, Naomi, who gives a shit? Now, backstage, AJ Styles is being interviewed by Sarah Schreiber. She congratulated him on winning his match last week. He said he embarrassed Drew Gulak, and that's Daniel Bryan's coach. And he's like just saying, you know what? I'm the champion. I'm not gonna be defending my title much often anyway. He goes to leave, but Sarah Schreiber informs him that next week he will actually be defending his title against the man that beat him in his debut, Matthew Riddle, or Matt Riddle. Why not just make it for the horror show? Why do we need it on SmackDown? Just like, why are the tag team titles in the main event tonight? Why? Why don't you just make that for the horror show? Especially the way that match ended. Why did you waste our time with a main event on SmackDown that you knew was going to end the way it did if you're only going to make it for the horror show? Of course, AJ Styles is not happy. He calls Matt Riddle's win a fluke and what he will do without Daniel Bryan or the other ones to help him. Says he's going to beat Riddle as he storms off. Then we go into the main event, SmackDown Tag Team Championship, Cesaro and Nakamura versus The New Day. Why am I watching this match tonight? Why is this match happening? The New Day lost. I know The New Day, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, lost to Cesaro and Nakamura. Obviously, that was going to lead to a tag team title match, as it should have, but it didn't. It took Nakamura winning a match against Kofi Kingston last week to even get this match. On top of that, you have a pay-per-view, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. Why not just say, well, you know what? At the horror show at Extreme Rules, it's going to be Cesaro Nakamura versus The New Day. Why did we have to go through this step to get to that? You want to know how this match ended? Double disqualification because all 4 men were in the ring brawling way too much, and the referee called for the bell. For no reason other than just because the referee had to. I don't know why. Then, then Cesaro and Nakamura, just like last week, bring a table out. Kofi Kingston and Big E are brawling with them, trying to stop them from doing whatever they're going to do. So, Nakamura and then finally get the table set up in the ring. They put Big E on top of the table, which I don't know why you would put Big E top of the table, because you could have put, just because of his girth, his size, his body mass, and the fact that he is one beefy dude, they could have put him on there and the table just collapsed because of how those tables are put up and how those tables are set up for WWE. Even the commentators mentioned how it's it's crumbling under the weight of a Big E. So they put him on there. They pick Kofi Kingston up and put it, and you see Cesaro putting Kofi Kingston through the table and Big E with a powerbomb. And that is how SmackDown went off the air. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are we going to have at the horror show at Extreme Rules that could be already named? And I haven't seen it because I'm using my phone to do this, and I'm not looking at Twitter right now. So, at Extreme Rules, I'm just going to say that. At Extreme Rules, it's going to be The New Day versus Cesaro in a tables match. It better fucking be a table elimination match. There's no other reason to do it any other way. But again, why would you make us go through having a title match in the main event of SmackDown that had a no contest win? That is going to be a double count out, which is going to lead to the match you were going to book anyway. There was no reason to have this match tonight. None at all. If all you were going to do was put it on Extreme Rules, why even give us this match tonight? It was an okay match, but all four guys went out there and did what they could do, but it was nothing special. This was a waste of everyone's time. You could have just said, well, you know what? We're going to replay half of Money in the Bank and half of one match from Money in the Bank and one match from Backlash, and that's going to be your show for tonight because that's all they needed to do. Because WWE is lazy and karaoke still. And you people want Evolution too. Here's the thing about WWE's main roster. Charlotte Flair, Asuka, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross. That's about it. That's 6 women right there. That are the only ones right now that are prominent in WWE. Mandy Rose, if you want to throw her in there too. But we haven't seen her for 2 weeks? Sonya Deville, where the fuck's she been? Where's Sonya Deville this week? Where's Mandy Rose this week? What happened to that? They need a blow-off match at Extreme Rules. We're not setting that up, I guess. This company needs change. The ratings are showing it. Monday Night Raw having the second lowest ratings of all time after the first few weeks of the Bruce Pritchard era, showing that, hey, let's rely on Ric Flair and the Big Show. Well, we'll talk about more of that on Sunday. This show... Fox, I hope you're happy with what you're paying for because, my God, this has been horrible. I honestly don't know which is worse, SmackDown or Raw. I don't. NXT would have to, and here's the thing, it's like NXT is not what it used to be. When it jumped to USA Network, you could just slowly for the first few weeks, and I kept doing reviews because it was still felt like NXT, but in the end it didn't, and I stopped because I'm like, this isn't NXT anymore. This is Vince McMahon presents NXT, and I can't get behind this. But NXT, even with Vince McMahon's influences, is still better off than Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. These two shows suck. And the guy behind them is always going to be Vince McMahon. Don't get it twisted thinking Bruce Pritchard has all this say and all this carte blanche to do whatever the fuck he wants for Raw or SmackDown. Vince McMahon lays out his plans for Raw, lays out his plans for SmackDown. Before he got rid of Heyman, his plans for SmackDown, Bruce Pritchard would be like, yes sir, yes sir, yes, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, okay, that's awesome, that's awesome. Paul Heyman would be like, let's not do that, let's do this instead, how about this? And Paul Heyman would challenge Vince McMahon on ideas. Bruce Pritchard kisses Vince McMahon's ass more than anybody. So Bruce Pritchard is going to be in that position for at least 6 months. And if he's out before that, I would be shocked. But with ratings going down, and USA Network and Fox both knowing that, hey, there's a global pandemic going on. Most people don't want to watch wrestling with almost zero crowd or with only 10 or 15 people. This is like Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, Raw, like Raw, SmackDown, NXT, even AEW, all look like an independent show with very small crowds. That's how they look to a lot of people. And a lot of people don't want to watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, or any professional wrestling when it looks like independent wrestling. If they want to go to an independent show, they'll go to an independent show when there's an independent show around. They don't want to see it on national TV. That's just the facts right there. But that is your SmackDown review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The France Club. Find me on Instagram at The France Club. And I'll see you guys Sunday for Unscripted. Till then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.